Welcome to Saskatchewan, land of the living skies, and one of the most difficult names for outsiders to pronounce. Saskatchewan? One of my most favorite names in the entire province, and one you'll never forget, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. This breadbasket of the prairies sees more sunshine than any other province in the entire country, and combines in over $3 billion annually from trademark crops like wheat, as seen on the provincial flag. And let's not forget, home to some of the most die-hard fans in the entire country, Rough Riders Nation, where it's not uncommon to witness a sea of green coming down to this stadium, wearing things like watermelon hats and driving John Deere tractors. I can't make this stuff up. The next stop on our incredible coast-to-coast motorcycle cooked in Canada adventure, welcome to Saskatchewan, baby.
Hi, I'm Kix. I love food, travel, and motorbikes. This year, I wanted to see my own backyard, Canada. So I decided to ride the second largest country in the world, coast to coast, on a 250cc dirt bike. It was an incredible opportunity to see the real Canada from inside the kitchens of real Canadians. These are the people and foods that make up this incredible country. Welcome to the Cooked in Canada motorcycle adventure.
From Hay River, I was headed southeast over 1,700 kilometers to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, hoping to uncover some of the magic of the Mennonite kitchen. Luckily, I live between those 2 points and stopped at home for a couple of days of motorcycle maintenance and a bit of backyard trout fishing. Got a little tiger trout. Look at this handsome little guy. He's got a little blood in his lips though. Oh, a little cutie. We'll let him go here. Come on, little guy. Whoa, he's off. He's a little fighter. That's why they call him the Tigers, I think. Oh, home sweet home at the Trout Lips Lodge. We managed to bang a trout on this beautiful night. Let me just do a little shot around here. Just home for a few days in between heading to Saskatchewan. And that is the backdrop behind the house. It's pretty good when it's sunny out. It's freezing cold, windy, smoky, rainy snow. It's not so nice, but let's see if I can get myself in the shot here because this isn't the right lens for this. Let's see if we can catch another one. Back on the road headed south, I spent the night at a roadside campground. Day one on the road to Saskatchewan. There's this cute little campground here with, I don't know, like a little lagoon sort of in the background. It's across from a farm. And the camping fee, this little green space, tough to beat. $5 and all you can burn wood. The catch is there's a province-wide fire ban right now, so there'll be no burning wood. But and if you want the water, they make you work for it. And I don't know if you've ever used a well before. Let's see how we point to this in reverse. But I'm going to see if this thing actually pumps a little water out here. We can wash our face in the morning and drink the water. Let's see if we can make it buck. Back on the road headed south. There's always these great welcomes to each province when you cross over a border. But here, there's a graveyard and this little tiny welcome to Saskatchewan sign. Oh, that was a letdown. I was expecting this grand welcome on the way in of some large historical point of interest that showed welcome to Saskatchewan. Nope. Just a graveyard and this little tiny sign that says land of living skies. Anyways, it does live up to its word. There's a lot of skies and there's a lot of crops. When I eventually landed in Swift Current, what I found was more like a scene from Back to the Future. A story about a lucky jaguar and something I never knew I'd been missing. The faspa, a meal between lunch and dinner. Originating around the Netherlands in Switzerland in the 1500s, Mennonites evolved as a religious group of agrarians until the 16th century, when conflicts with other established religions had them fleeing to protect their way of life.
Beliefs like adult baptism, refusing to fight in wars, and not seeing the church and the state as one did not sit well with other mainstream religious beliefs at the time. In areas like Russia, peace was short-lived, and by the late 1800s, they were once again looking for a new home to maintain their way of life. With an open invitation from Canada to settle in the prairies and farm the land, thousands of Mennonites settled in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Existing villages like those around Swift Current blossomed until modern life and government ideals began again in the early 1900s. During this time, Canada began to pressure Mennonites to close their schools and enroll their children in traditional Canadian schools, where they would be assimilated to traditional beliefs of the British language and their way of thinking. Similar to the previous immigrations, some groups moved to rural Mexico, hoping to hold on to their freedoms and beliefs. Today, the Mennonite way of life in southern Saskatchewan is mostly held together by historical centers, a collection of antique homesteads, and my reason for coming: traditional recipes. On arrival, I'm greeted by Helen, a warm, welcoming lady who could easily pass for your favorite kindergarten teacher. Mennonites are known for their friendly open-door policy, and as I stepped inside, wet from the rain, I was greeted with another aspect of the culture I was soon going to love: the mid-morning faspa. Faspa is typically served in the mid-afternoon, and was meant to be the holdover meal for hardworking farmers to keep them going until supper. This light lunch typically includes 𝗔𝗯cie, a crisp, rust-style sweetbread, or rural 𝗔𝗯cie, which I'm butchering the German pronunciation of, a sweet fried bread often dipped in Rogers corn syrup and served with watermelon. Often found on the faspa table are meats, cheeses, jams or jellies, cakes and sweets, and it's often served alongside tea and coffee. Today, Helen insists the tea be served in these adorable teacups with floral designs atop gold rim plates. Faspa was not exclusively for the afternoon, Helen explained.
My aunt and uncle, where I spent a lot of time growing up, they would have this faspa. You'd have breakfast, and then you'd have faspa, and then you'd have lunch, and then you'd have faspa again, and then you'd have supper, and then you'd have this again before you go. Yeah, like 3 times a day.
Whoa.
So, yeah. And, all these cookies and everything. I don't know how they did it. They were both not plump people, but boy, oh boy.
Holy, that's a lot. To offset this carbohydrate crisis, I would have literally needed to plow the field by hand. While I started to stuff my face with faspa, Helen entertains me with stories about growing up in the local Mennonite community and how she's learned to read and write Ploutish, a Mennonite dialect of Low German, with the Bible as a reference guide. She also tells me of how she came to learn from the traditional foods, as a kid starting in the garden, digging potatoes and shelling peas. Helen agrees to teach me how to make one of her favorite dishes, summer borscht, known traditionally as 𝗔𝗯cie, with ingredients from her garden. This hearty soup-like dish made with sorrel leaf, a sour and pungent herb that looks a lot like spinach that's been growing in her garden. Helen grabbed a jar of sorrel leaf paste from the fridge, made from the sorrel leaves, vinegar, salt, onion tops, and dill. Sounds great.
So open that and put some in there, and I'll get water in here.
Oh, you gotta be tough for this one. Your muscles are probably bigger than mine. Oh, these smokers. Woo. For today's recipe, about a half a cup of the paste was put into a spice infuser and placed in a large pot that was filled half full with water. Next, we added around 8 6-inch sausages and 1 8-inch Mennonite farmer sausage cut into spoon-sized chunks. This was set to simmer on the stove for an hour. Then we added around 12 medium-sized peeled and cubed potatoes, then 1 medium diced white onion. Then Helen topped the pot off with hot water and turned it on to cover and let it simmer. Like clockwork, in the final simmering moments, in walked the family, and Helen quickly added in 2 cups of whipping cream and a cup of buttermilk. Then she poured us all a round of wine and left the borscht to its final simmer. First in the door is Helen's daughter-in-law, Elaine, followed by her son Lloyd, and a few moments later, husband Seymour. Over dinner, the family patiently answered my growing list of ridiculous questions. I asked them if Mennonites and the Amish are the same. They explained that the Anabaptist religion loosely connects Mennonites to the Amish and Hutterites, and if you're trying to differentiate them all while driving down the road, the Amish don't drive, the Hutterites drive pickup trucks, and these Mennonites drive Teslas. Finally, I want to know if they resist certain technologies like I'd read online. They say they can't speak on behalf of everyone, but technology is certainly more widely accepted than it may have been a decade or two ago, and I'm unlikely to notice anything different inside of their home than inside of mine. During my question and answer period, it quickly became evident that I was dining with genuine geniuses, and after dinner, I was treated to a tour of Lloyd's Techie Lab. Seymour and Lloyd share a city lot with a large shop. The roof is plastered in solar panels. The planos power the Teslas, a series of electric golf carts, and a 1985 Porsche 944 Turbo.
Harry, so you took that out of which vehicle though?
So, it was from a company called High Performance Electric Vehicles.
Okay.
And so they built it's a purpose-built motor for cars.
Yeah.
So.
And so this was strictly for fun?
This was a proof of concept vehicle.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to prove that electric vehicles could work in Saskatchewan and that I could actually build one.
Yeah.
So.
And both worked out?
It was a gateway to buying a Tesla, the Ford, rebuilding another Tesla, meet lots of really neat people. So yeah, it paid off in dividends.
His signature touch? The power charging cord coming up out of the fuel tank. While showing me around the shop, we stumbled to another project of theirs, a 1973 General Electric i5 riding lawnmower with cruise control.
It's a fully electric vehicle. Back, it was designed by General Electric, and it came electric. I basically restored it to this point, and it's kind of fun.
And it's running?
Yeah. I think.
When Lloyd kicked them over into gear, it quickly hummed like an oversized Roomba.
Where's my reverse? Put it into gear.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's got cruise control too.
This is like way ahead of its time.
Oh, very much so.
The electric vibe of the room felt like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future was showing me around Elon Musk's hobby shop. The next day, Seymour and Helen toured me around the countryside to explore old Mennonite villages, the historical center, and tried to give me a general idea of what life used to be like for Mennonites in southern Saskatchewan.
Why is the house attached to the barn?
The entrance in between here would be the cook shack, and you do all your meal preps and everything in there. In the barn you'd have your cows, your livestock, and it'd just be handy. You have to go milking and whatnot all, so it'd be handy. You do your cook shack here, and this is the formal part of the house where the family would live.
Though I wasn't wholeheartedly picturing Helen to originally meet me the first day on horseback with a basket of eggs, I was surprised she was touring me around in a sleek, black, supercharged Jaguar XF. Like most of my discoveries, how she came to drive this car was far from what you may have assumed watching it stalk the streets at night. In early 2009, the Living Sky Casino was newly opened in Swift Current. As a promotion, they mailed out ballots where you could just win a car by entering in the casino draw box. Helen entered the draw with one ballot, giving it her signature lucky fold, as she says, and proclaiming aloud, "I'm going to win this," while dropping it into the ballot box. On the day of the draw, she walked in, and live on camera, she won the Jag. Unbelievable. The next day, I set off hoping to gain access to one of the most well-guarded kitchens in Canada, the Hutterite kitchen. But I didn't just want to walk in, show up, bang on the door, and ask to buy some pies and take a vegetable stand photo on my way out the door. I needed to know the secrets of the Hutterite kitchen and why the food always tasted like it was meant to fuel Demeter, the Greek goddess of agriculture. I knew someone would need to give me an introduction to build that bridge of trust required to stroll across and into the Hutterite kitchen. Departing from Helen's that Sunday morning, she'd made some phone calls on my behalf, and I was told that I should just show up at the Swift Current Hutterite colony, tell them who I was, and not to worry. Everything else would take care of itself.
Hey there, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
Excellent.
Just cruising around.
Just cruising around? Yeah, me too. Where are you going to?
Oh, not much. Just around the place.
Oh, nice. Well, I called earlier and asked if I came out, if someone would take me on a tour, and the guy said to come out after church, after 12 sometime, and ask, and someone would be watching for me, and they would take me on a tour.
I can give you a tour.
Oh, you can give me a tour?
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to do at the moment. Just trying to find work, so.
Oh, really? And no one's going to mind if you're just driving around some random guy?
No, that's fine.
Okay, awesome.
Despite growing up in Alberta, I know next to nothing about farming. I was thinking that what I was going to see inside the dairy barn was going to be similar to what I'd seen about dairy farming when I was a kid. You find the cow, you grab a chair, you milk it, and you try to avoid getting kicked in the face. When filling a tanker-sized truck every day with fresh milk, this is not how the operation goes. Inside was a first-class self-milking operation. Chris shows me the computerized milking machine that runs on a reward system. Each cow has a sensor in its ear that monitors when it was last milked, how much milk it produced, and its overall health. The machine won't allow the cow to be milked if it reaches its daily production limit. In short, the cow walks up to a gate, the computer scans its ear tag. If it's allowed to be milked, the gate opens, the cow makes its way into the stall where a little cow treat is waiting. Then the milking machine hooks itself up to the teats, starts milking, and when the milking is done and the treat is gone, the cow leaves and in comes the next one. I could not believe my eyes. These cows were actually milking themselves.
About how much milk does a cow put out a day?
Well, some cows anywhere from 25 kgs to about 50, something like that.
Oh, it's by weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all in kgs or whatever. So.
Yeah.
Like this cow, he's expecting 11 kgs from,
Yeah.
and they go milk about 3 times a day, something like that. Some 4 even. Depending on the cow, each cow's got its different. If there's a cow that milks more, they'll have milk permission more times a day.
Yeah.
If they give more milk, it'll automatically recognize that and it'll give her milk permission sooner than some other cows.
So it could put out more than 100 kilograms of milk a day?
100 pounds if you think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all day long. We did have one that put out about 60 kgs a day.
Yeah. Holy.
Yeah. And the same thing applies to the feed that they get.
Oh, they get more if they put out more?
If they put out more milk, they get more feed.
Yeah, they probably need
It kind of challenges them a bit.
Yeah.
So it's all automated kind of deal. Yeah.
For the most part, dairy cows are black and white. But one anomaly stands out from the crowd at this particular barn. This cow was somehow bred with a red Angus and is a rich brown color. I look at Chris and ask if this cow produces chocolate milk. He cringes, forces a half smile as if to say, I've heard that terrible joke so many times that I'm going to stop bringing people to this side of the barn.
And this is the pet cow, the one on the.
A pet cow?
This one.
Like it's your friend?
Yes.
Oh. Well, let me take a picture next to the pet cow.
This is Ella.
At this point, I'm dying to get to the kitchen to see what's going on with their abundance of dairy they produce around here and what sort of favorite farm delicacies they have. But Chris is a lot easier to talk to than I was expecting. So I start to ask him about life on the farm and what he does for fun. During our chat, Chris pulls out his cell phone and shows me photos of some stunning fish he'd caught.
There's actually a walleye I caught last year.
Shut the
11.5 pounds.
What?
Uh-huh. We do get wages. We only got $30 a month, but we're pretty well set up. You know, it's you'd almost think it's not as you like. It's not that much getting $30 a month, but we do get stuff from the colony.
Yeah.
Like goodies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we don't gotta worry about that.
Chris tours me around the farm, past the bird barn, up to the prep kitchen and butcher shop, and over to where a row of housing is being built. It looks like it should be a booming business, but I haven't seen a single person walking around this farm. Inside the new housing, I asked Chris how to decide who gets what house. He says that if you're planning on getting married, you would tell the colony about 6 months in advance, and they would look to see what options are available for housing, aiming to have something ready for you to move into once you're married. As Chris wasn't married and still pretty young, he still lived with his parents. Finally, he agrees to take me up to the main kitchen, as the ladies are likely doing some preparations this time of day. I can literally feel my internal excitement building. I can smell the freshly baked Hutterite buns. I can taste the buckwheat sausages frying on the grill. I can feel the rush of a sweet 𝗔𝗯cie pie as it hits my lips. I cannot wait to sink my hands into some Hutterite meal prep in a kitchen teeming with ladies whose lives have revolved around traditional German farm recipes. This is the moment I've been waiting for. However, Chris is now looking at me a bit oddly as I go off on a little tangent about my excitement to get into the kitchen, and I start to ramble off about some of my cooking experience as if to impress a guy and let him know I'm no novice. completely forgetting that no male Hutterite wants to be seen doing any work in the kitchen and donning an apron with the rest of the ladies. Suddenly, as the door opens, I catch a sneak peek of some of the dozens of workers starting to materialize. Wait a minute. There are only 4 or 5 ladies in here, and not one other person is around for lunch. Oh man. It's quickly explained to me that the one day I arrived is Ascension Day, a holiday, and everyone is at home. And today, in the kitchen, they're making takeout burritos. Ugh, my timing could not have been worse.
So why did you choose burritos?
Well, let's take out today.
We're having something easy. We have holidays. We're celebrating a religious holiday from yesterday till tomorrow. So we have church services. Like tomorrow on Sunday for 3 days, and we don't have supper on those evenings. We have it at home.
Gotcha.
All the time.
So what was your favorite dish to make for food week then? This is it?
The easiest.
Gotcha. You don't like the cleaning the dough?
She loves burritos.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't expect to see burritos.
Yeah.
That's good. But these are very meaty ones.
Yeah.
4 or 5 of you, or is there like a
No,
whole
just
bunch?
us 3.
There's 3 of us.
Good for everyone?
No,
Yes.
no, there's
For 80
13
people.
cook weeks.
Oh, there's 13 cook weeks, yes.
Oh, sorry, I mean people working in the
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah,
us.
just us 3.
For 1 week.
For 80 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. We get up at 5 every morning for a whole week, yes.
Oh,
And we start preparing breakfast and sort of do the
yeah.
prepare lunch too and supper. You know, cut up stuff if they needs to be cut up.
But you're never hungry.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah? I think you fed all the
I'm
time.
always hungry.
So does someone teach?
Yeah, well, there's a head. Well, our moms teach us.
Okay, so it's learned.
It's sort of
It's tradition, yeah.
Yeah.
you just gotta look too and see, oh, that's how they're doing it. Okay, that's how I'm about to do
But
it.
there is a person in
We
charge.
have a head cook too.
She's in charge of giving us the groceries. She orders the groceries and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if you guys could do any job here in the whole colony, what would you choose?
Cook.
I like what we do.
Yeah.
All the work we do. I like that there's a nice break in between.
Okay.
We don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
See, garden work it's fun, but you're glad when the season's over. And
Yeah.
It's
Right.
fun to cook, but when
so
you're
butchering and caning, it is fun, but you're glad when
it's over.
She moving to my tent.
You always have to move. The girls move. The guy always stays where he's born.
So you think that's good or it's worse to be the
Well,
person?
I don't know. I'm pretty sad about it.
Because one, you'd be sort of learning something new, but at the same time, you'd be sort of missing all your friends.
Yes, but
it's a Hutterite tradition.
it's a tradition. You marry the man you love, I guess, and then it all works out in the end.
Despite what you think you may know about Mennonite and Hutterite cultures, I can attest that each is very unique from the other. They'll both seem to value good food and good company. For a guy riding around with an empty stomach and a mouthful of questions, I'm happy to report that both cultures had an open door and open kitchen policy. If you're looking to discover some of Canada's premier prairie people, southern Saskatchewan is waiting for you. Next time on the Cooked in Canada motorcycle adventure, we're off to learn about the incredible history of Canada's 𝗔𝗶𝘅 and get our hands dirty making the 𝗔𝗶𝘅 𝗶𝗶𝘅.